Right, everyone, now I'm going to try, is it Peggy you wanted me to show? Well, you wanted to crochet, but I'm not going to crochet, we're going to knit. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to knit the hats. Now I've got two separate, because I've already started another outfit. So this is the hat I'm going to show you how to knit, this one. It's so easy, it really is. And if you've never knit before, you can start knitting, because knitting is easy once you know what you're doing. So I've already, like I say, I've already started this hat. So I'm going to put this one down and I'm going to pick up my needles and my ball of wool. Now, before I do that, there's a couple of things I'm going to share with you shortly, how to make the bird. Like that. They're tree decorations, you can hang them from the tree. There's the snowflake, I'm going to show you how to make the snowflake. Sorry if you didn't see that. Tree decoration. And I have done this one, it's a key ring, but you can put it on your tree, so you can make it red and white. I worked them all out. It takes ages to sort it out. So I'm going to take you through step by step. Now, most people who knit, many of you will know that if you get the wool from the inside of the ball in the middle, like that, you can sit that on your desk and it won't move. Generally, people take this off, take the wool, start with the top thread there, and then it's rolling all over the place. You don't need to do that. Leave that like that. Now I'm going to put these side by side because I do want you to see. I'm going to put that my side and put that there. Hopefully you can still see that. So I'm just going to unwind this till I get the because they can get caught up, you see. That's why you've got to be careful with them. Okay, let's have a look. You do have to take, sometimes you can get it straight out the middle, other times you take a bit out, but it doesn't matter because it'll put you on. It's not going to go anywhere, is it? Let's just get this sorted. I don't generally, do you know what? I knew this was going to happen because I'm showing you, but I don't generally have that problem. Now I've got a knot in that. I can't be bothered with it. I'm just going to cut it and it'll do for stitching, so I don't waste it. Okay, if you're going to knit, if you've never knit before, I'm going to teach you the easiest way possible. So, you have to cast on 40 stitches. And you're going, cast on? What? All I do, and I use generally size 7s. Because my dolls are about 18 inches tall. The clothes I knit, I use a double knit. This is 100 gram. It's too small, I can't read it, I do apologise. Just a double knit anyway. So I know a lot of people knit with the needles under the arms. I generally do, but because I'm going to be showing you, I'm going to have to do it this way. So we go to do a knot. So you make yourself your loop, put your short end on the left hand side and hook that over your needle. Now I'm going to show you a way how to do it cast on, and I'm going to put that way because it's going to annoy the hell out of me. Because a lot of people end up with big loops at the bottom, and there's a way to stop that and have it nice and neat. So put your needle through the loop, okay? Wrap your wool around once, loosen it up a little bit, and pull your needle through. So you've got that. I'm going to show you that again. You've put a loop onto your needle. Put your if you're right-handed, I can't show you left-handed because I'm not left-handed. Wrap your needle, your wool around your needle. Pull that needle out, and you get a little loop. Keep hold of this one. Put your left needle through that loop you've just made, and you've got 2 stitches. Now, the way to do it where you don't have baggy loops underneath, but you have a nice neat finish, is if you do that and if you put your right needle through that loop again and then wrap it round, you end up with a baggy stitch. So I do it this way. Put my needle through behind that stitch, put it behind the stitch altogether, wrap that around, push that needle through, pull that out, and I've got a nice neat stitch. And I can lengthen that anything I want. So I do that. Now I'm only showing you this stitch by stitch, but I don't generally I continue. So again, you needle through the first stitch, completely through it. Wrap your wool round, pull your needle through. Now I've caught mine here, so let go of that, and again, just do it again like that. So wrap that round. Now I would just generally go straight back in through the back of that stitch. Like that. But I'll do one stitch at a time. So that's my next stitch I've just done. The needle through, right through, can you see? Wrap the wool around, push the needle through, but control your needles yourself. You've got that. That's your next stitch you've just made. Put your needle through, wrap it around, you've done the whole stitch, and just do that until you've got 40 stitches. Now like I say, I do my I've got a table that's needles are banging, that'll annoy the hell out of me, but hey ho, I'm trying to keep it where you can see it. And like I say, just do 40 stitches. Okay, let's see how many we've got now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19, 20. Bang on. Okay. So now what we're going to do is this section. We're going to do the rib. It's called a rib. And you have to knit one. And you end with it. You start with a knit stitch and you end with a knit stitch. But in this case, because I've done 40 stitches, there's 3 knit stitches. But this one, on all rows, is all the first and the last is always a knit stitch, and that keeps that edge nice and neat. Then when you put them together to stitch, you know, to make up the garment, you've got little notches there to go on, so that you know you're always in the right place. Right. So we're going to do 6 rows. First one, put your needle through the first stitch, not behind it like you've been doing, just through the first stitch, and knit. Pull it through, knock that off your left needle. So that's your first stitch, and then you knit 2, 1, 2. So you've actually knit 3. But this first and last stitch is always a knit stitch. Then to do a purl, you have to bring your wool to the front, okay? Bring it round to the front. You go into the back, to the back of the front stitch, if you know what I mean. That's the back of the stitch, and that's the back of the front stitch, okay? Wrap your wool round, push it through, drop that off. Through the front stitch, wrap it round, and you've just done 2 purl stitches. Now you need to do 2 knit stitches again, so wrap that wool round to the back of your needle, and you go 1, and you're only going through the front of each stitch. Underneath, 2 purl, wrap it round, 1, 2. Just say it to yourself. Purl 2. Knit 2. I will slow all of this down so you'll be able to see it better. So 2 more purl stitches, and you do it right to the end. 2 knit stitches. Sorry the table's in the way making that clatter. Now, if you look at what you've done, you can see the stitches. These with a little bobble at the front are your purl stitches. Those with the V's are your knit stitches. And that's basically all it is all the way across. So I've just done 2 knit, now I'm doing 2 purl. 2 knit. 2 purl. And I'm left with 3 stitches. Remember when I started, I had 3 knit stitches. That's fine. You're going to do exactly the same. 3 knit stitches. And there you go. You've done your first row. Now, sorry about this. That would normally be your knit row. When you're going to do the rest of it, it's going to be, that'll be the knit row. This one coming back where you started is your purl row. But because we're doing a rib, we have to continue with your knit 2, purl 2. But coming back where you when you started, you had 3 knits. Coming back, you've got like 3 purls. But you don't purl the first stitch. You only knit it and then purl 2. So you knit that, and that keeps your sides really neat for you to follow. Wrap the wool to the front and purl 2. wrap the wool to the back and knit 2. And remember, you're only going through the front of the stitches. See? You're going with a knit stitch, you go in through the front. With a purl stitch, you go in through the front of the stitch, but through the back of it. Because look, if I go to purl a stitch and I go to do it in the front, I'm knitting. That's a knit stitch. That's a purl stitch. Okay? Make sure I get this right. I don't cock myself up. But you see your ribs start to come. Knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2. You see that? That's why, you know, if you make a mistake, you have to take it back and start. And it's not good. So keep checking it. But that's 2 rows now. And we've got to do 6, 3 of each. Like I say, I will slow all of this down for you in sections so that you can see. I don't knit like this. I have my needles tucked under my arm and I go pretty fast. Sorry, I'm just have to get that. But once you start using them, they warm up with what you're doing. Hear them squeak, squeak, squeak. So the last 3 stitches is purl 2, your last stitch, knit 1. Turn your needle around, swap your needle should I say, and there you go. Like you say, you can start to see it. Your knits, your purls, your knits, your purls, your knits, your purls, like that. Okay, move that out of the way. So again, we just do that 4 more rows. So we're starting on the knit side, so it's knit the first stitch. Again, you can see your 2 knit stitches and just knit them. Now I'm going to slow this down and speed some up so that the others that don't need to watch all of it, you know, because it does take time. Oops, I dropped my wool on the floor. Don't do that, lady. You can see it better as it grows, you see. I can't stop the needles clacking, I'm so sorry. Now, where you hold your wool in your hands, it's completely up to you. A lot of people wrap it round the fingers, they do it like this, they wrap it round there, and they're doing all of that. I basically hold it in my hand and wrap my finger underneath the wool, because then I've got control of that wool. And then this one I just hold in this hand. I mean, this is slow for me, but obviously I do right, with it, to the last 3 stitches again, knit 2 and then knit 1 on the end. Now we're back onto the what would be the purl row normally. And so again, the last 3 look like purl stitches, but you purl 2 and knit 1. The first 3 look like purl stitches, but you knit 1, purl 2. Okay. Knit 1, pull your wool to the front, purl 2, put your wool to the back, knit 2. And honest to God, once you've learned how to do a knit stitch and a purl stitch, there's nothing stopping you from doing anything. Even casting on and casting off. You know, I don't use patterns because I look at something and I think, right, you need to do it. I know where there's a decrease in a stitch. I know where there's an increase in a stitch. I can also do fancy stitches and things like that because I've learnt myself. Like it's like playing music. I can play a little bit of the piano, but I don't read music. I play by ear. But in crafting and things like this, when I'm knitting, I can't, or crocheting even, I just look at the pattern and I can do it. Like I can do an Aran jumper without actually reading a pattern because I know what the stitches are. And it's, you know, and as long as you remember when you're doing a jumper or something for yourself, that you do exactly the same rows on the and cast off on the same, you know, the same amount and everything, you'll be fine. You can knit yourself a jumper in no time. Honest. Telling you. Okay, so this is our 5th stitch, 5th line, and the last one coming back is the 6th one, and then we go on to the whole knit rows, so you don't have any purl in them, apart from a purl row coming back. So you knit a row, purl a row then. But we have to do something first. I've missed a, one off that, because we've got to increase before we decrease. And I'll show you why in a minute when we've done the next row. You know when you're doing a little berry and it has like a little cupped edge? Well, you have to increase to get that and then you decrease later. So I will share that with you on what we do. And you don't need to increase many stitches. Last stitch, knit, okay? So this is the last row before we start to knit a row, purl a row. Is it? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is our 6th one. Then we come back, we purl back. So it's knit 2. You knit 1, then you knit 2, purl 2, and continue on your last one. Sorry, I hope I'm in view. It's a bit awkward having my needles up higher than what I use them because my arms are hurting already. See, starts to look really nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6th one is that I'm doing is on the needle. Oops, now I've just dropped a stitch. Do be careful that you don't miss that if you do drop them. Now we're coming up to the last 3, and again it's all stitch, knit stitch. Now on this row, because we've done 6 rows now, this is the back of the hat. When I say the back of the hat, it's the wrong side. That's the right side, this is the wrong side. So coming back, we just knit the first stitch, and then we purl every stitch to the last one and knit it. I do suggest that you always keep plenty of your wool to one side, you know, ready, so that you're not stretching the ball and that of wool. And don't leave it that you have this too far down here. Keep them gathered. That's what I do, but keep control of that needle. You know, so they don't slip off when you're pulling your stitch off. Underneath, round, pull. Underneath, round, pull. Underneath, round, pull, and just continue all the way to the end. Get to the last stitch, wrap the needle to the front and knit that stitch. Now we're going to cast on, and I bet you say, well, we've cast on, you've got 40 stitches. What we're going to do is, as each pair of knit stitches comes, you're just going to cast one on to each pair, an extra stitch, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You knit your first stitch, then you go to knit one, wrap your wool round, pull your needle through it, but don't take that stitch off the needle. Move your needle to the front, to the back of the, move your right needle to the back of your left needle, and see, this point is going to go through that stitch again. See that there? And do that, and you've made a stitch, an extra stitch. And then you're going to knit 3, because you're on a knit row now. Now, we're back to the pairs, and this is the first one, is the one you're going to make another stitch with. Put your right needle through the front. See, it's not gone through both, it's just gone through the front. Wrap your wool around, pull your needle out, but don't pull your stitch off how you would normally do it. You bring your needle to the back of your right needle to the back of your left needle, and see that loop? You're going in the back of there. See? So I'm going to take that needle and push that in the back. Wrap your needle round, and then you can pull it off, and you've made an extra stitch. and then 1, 2, 3. First stitch of your pairs, wrap that wool round, pull the needle through, take the needle to the back of that stitch and go back into it, and then pull it off. You can't lose your place because you've got these as a guide. Round, pull it through, take it to the back, through the back of that stitch again. I'm going to start that again. Take your right needle, put it through the front of your stitch on your left needle. Push it fair way in because you want to catch this. Wrap the wool around. Pull that needle or push the needle through to the front. Put the needle to the back of your right needle to the back of your left needle, and on this loop you're going in the back of that stitch. I don't know if I can show you. See? Push it into the back of that stitch and you've increased the stitch. Front of the stitch, pull it back and do that again. 1, 2, 3. Front of the stitch, wrap it round, pull it through to the front, take your needle to the back and go through that stitch again. It's easy. And once you've done it a couple of times, you'll get used to it. Now you're on your last 3. Through to the front, take it to the back, through the stitch, like that. Now, what you do with this is you just continue to purl. I'm just going to have to take this thread out because it's starting to pull. That's it. Okay, so this, you can see the difference. These are your purl stitches. So that's the purl side, that's the back of something. And this is what people see, the front. So now, because you've done them extra stitches, you've got a few more to purl. Knit your first stitch, purl all of the stitches. So that's each one, put the needle through, including the one you've made. And what you've done there, I'll show you when I've done this row. You've made the hat a little bit wider, like a berry style, so when you stick it together and you've decreased on your next 6 rows, you'll you get the berry shape. And when I say berry, berret, not a berry as in a things birds pick, a berret, like a green beret, should I say. You'll know what I mean by beret. Some people say it differently. Sorry, I'm sorry. I don't know what everybody says. That's the row. Adding a stitch, you know, increasing is what I missed off of this. So I will type it all out for you. And put the pattern up on the shop. We'll do it as a printable thing. I hope you've been able to see this. I'll be annoyed if you've not. Ooh, see, I missed that stitch. Just go back, keep going. Forward, and your last stitch is a knit stitch. So let's see what we've got so far. There you go. See it coming together, and it's growing pretty quick. And you should be able to see where your new stitch is, because look, you've 2 there, you've these 2 here, so that's them 2, because we've changed them to knit stitches now, and then you've that one in the middle between them 2. So yeah, and it's made you know, when it's all together, I'll show you the hats so you know what I mean. See this little berry bit here? So we've increased these stitches, which makes that little ruffle in it. Yeah? We only do 6 stitches, 6 rows, and then we have to take it back and decrease, which is easy. Now it's knit every row, knit every stitch. Right, so the first 6 lines have done. Now you can count. If you see from your purl stitch, you can count. I never include that, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, let me just get that straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've actually done 7, but I casted one on, didn't I? I did the purl row and then did the cast on. So that's 6 stitches, 6 rows. So now what we're going to do, we're going to decrease. We increased, now we're going to decrease. And where you increased, you just decrease again. So we started and we did knit 1. So knit your first stitch, put your needle. You can go either in the back, you know, to catch both of those that way, or you can put them through the back of those 2. And then cast off. You cast them together. So you've knit 2 together. Then it'll be knit 1, knit 2 together. It doesn't matter whether you can, you know, you do it from the back or the front. I find it easier and neater at the back. So you've knit 2 together, knit 1, sorry, knit 2 together, pull it through, knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 1, knit 2 together. You do have to be careful and just ease it through. Once you get it going, it's fine. Knit 1, knit 2. So you just catch them together, loosen them up if you have to. knit one, knit two together, and knit one. And just keep going to the end, and then you knit your last stitch, of course. Nearly done. Was that a knit one? Yeah. Just checking out, double that up. So knit two together and knit one. If you're comfortable doing it through the front, then you do that, but I like to do it through the back. Oops. Knit two together, and it's called decreasing. And just knit the rest of the stitches because you've only got two left. Like that. Now you just purl that row back, but you've got to knit one, purl to the end, knit one. And you see you get that little puff. What gathers, you know what the beret looks like. Now you've got to do 6 rows and then you decrease the same again. So I'm just going to knit a row, purl a row for 6 rows and I'll be back. Right, again, I've gone and done the 6 rows, decreased, 6 rows, and now we're going to decrease again. And it's the same thing, and it does put a little bit of a pattern in it. So just knit your first stitch, you knit 2 together. I'm going to do mine through the back of the stitch again. Knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 1 and knit 2 together, and do that right to the end. Oops, now I've pulled mine out, so that's going to be a bit awkward. You have to make sure you pick that stitch back up because that can happen. So I've knit 2, knit 1, carefully do it, knit 2, knit 1, because if you knit very tight you're going to have a trouble doing this, but if you knit quite loosely you should be okay. Oops, I missed that, didn't catch that right. It's easily done. There we go. And you see how I've just pulled my wool out, you know, from my ball of wool. It's, you just touch it with your finger and pull it with your hand. And it's not moving about. It's so much easier. Oops. Yeah, I've got room to do another 2, another one there. Oops. Put my stitch back on and then knit the last stitch. Now again, I've just got to knit 6 rows and I'll be back. Right, so I've done the next 6. Now we're going to take these off and we're going to make the hats. Now, you do need a needle and thread. So I'm just going to take my needle and thread here. I'm going to cut enough, leave enough on my needle so that I can stitch it together, but we can stitch it in if you don't need it. Now, I usually pull it down with my finger and thumb and then insert that at the back, because you don't want to go through the wool, it won't work. You have to go under the wool so you get the loop. So stretch it down with your finger and thumb and just get the loop. let that run. There you go, that's the last one. And then pull that through. And you see you get that nice little closing to put your bobble on. Keep it back to front. Now what we need to do is match up our little dots. I call them little dots, see, like that. So we need to get into the first one, pull that tight, and then you just stitch away. Do an over stitch, so you're doing them two bobbles together. You can see that they, you know, they belong together, sort of thing. Now, because I've got a long thread here as well, I go halfway down and then go halfway up, and that way you're not wasting your threads. I keep these bits that I cut off for wrapping round things and that. You see, so that's it. That's all I'm going to do there. Go back up. Just start stitching back up. It'll hold and it'll be fine. There we go. That's all you need to do. Nothing wrong with that. Except you've got to thread that bloody needle again. So take this one. Now Peggy, I know you said you'd rather crochet, but do you know, I think crocheting is worse to learn than knitting, because you've only 2 stitches with knitting. Knit one, purl one. Whereas you've patterns to follow for your other one, for crocheting. Unless you're just going to do a continuous row, you know, back and forth. But to make something, you have to follow patterns, and I don't do patterns. I see what I want to make and I make it. I'm just going to go over that bit we've just done on the first lot. And then start to go back down. And then what I'm going to do is just thread that needle through there. Oh, I will do if it'll go. See, you got to be really careful with this stuff. It doesn't always want to go. You'll go there though. Now, I'll put my needle away. Like I say, and here is our little hats. Look, you've made your bobble hats. Oops, no bobble, but look. See? That's how you do them. Now, I just tuck that under, because that's what I glue onto the doll. Like that. And it's like a little berry hat. But we need to make the bobble. So what you do for that is you take your wool, 3 fingers, and wrap it round. Oh, God. Do I have to count? Yeah, I'm going to have to, because otherwise you'll get it wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. $50. $50, right? And then you need to cut a piece off. Try and get it in the middle of the bit you've wrapped around. Do 3 wraps if you can. Like that. Ignore them ends because they're all going to be cut in a minute. There you go. And then all you do is we're going to trim them bits off and just cut all your loops. I do have a pom-pom maker, but I don't use them. Not as often as I should. I should, because I bought them to use. But I sometimes just do it this way. Now I fluff mine up, just wrap it around, roll it around in your hand, and then cut it. Cut it to the size you want. Now you can stitch this in or glue it on. And I'm afraid I glue. I do sometimes stitch. Them scissors not much cop. Let's see if I can use these. Because you don't want a pom-pom that's too big for the hat, do you? Just cut it down to what you need. Like that. Like I say, if you just want to stitch it on, just leave 2 long threads when you're wrapping it round, and then you can use your needle to go through the top of the hat and stitch it. But I would glue mine on if my glue gun was on and I forgot to put it on. So right now, I'm just going to get the mat, because it's fallen. There you go, see? Glued in. And there you go, that's how you do it. I will be back, so I'm going to show you how to do the scarves. I'm going to show you how to... well, the thing is, when you're doing scarves or socks, well, not a scarf, but socks, they're exactly the same. You just need, you're not going to be shaping it, you'll just need, this is a sock. So you're going to have your knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, like that. And then you'll do knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row, and then at the top you'll go back to this, because that's for the ankle and this is for the top. So you'll be doing that again, putting your rib in. You just have to work out how wide you need your sock. Now, when you do this, if you think the leg of a doll is roughly like 6 stitches, but you're going to need 4 for the front and 4 for the back. Sorry, 8 for the front and 8 for the back. I'd cast on 16 stitches and do the rib. And then do just plain knit 1, purl 1 row. Till you get to the top, however long you want your socks. Remember, socks don't look straight. You have them hanging down a bit and rippled, like I push them together. And then, you know, just do your rib at the top. Just revert back to doing the rib at the top. And then cast off, turn them inside out, stitch them up, and you've got a pair of socks. You don't have to put feet in if you're putting boots on. If you're putting shoes on, then good luck. I haven't got to doing them yet. But there you go. That's how you do it. All right. So I'll be back shortly to show you. I'm going to be doing the jumper. So I'm going to use this as the jumper, to be honest, because I've already started it. Although it was my hat. But to be able to put the tie in, you know, you have to learn how to do the holes to thread the tie through or the ribbon through. So I'll show you that, because that's quite interesting. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye-bye for now.